Everyone, how's it going? It's Brandon. Just wanted to give you a quick update. One of my cousins requested some more information about something. I shared a little bit about it with her, but I figured I would make a quick video. Uh, she said some other people were asking her some questions, and I thought, well, I don't know a whole lot, but I've seen a little bit and talked to my friends in China, and I figured I would share a little bit of what I've heard, and that's what this video is going to be about. It's going to be about a little bit about the information that I've heard from some of my friends and former colleagues in China. I'm not going to name any names, but I can tell you a little bit about where they're from and what they've experienced, what they've seen, and that sort of thing. Now, there are some things that I've read online, and some things that even my friends and colleagues have told me that they've heard, and whether or not those things are true or not, we're not sure. And so I'm not going to feed into that too much. But I will tell you some things that I've been told are confirmed. And I think right now things are definitely better. So that's where I'll start. Let's start right now with kind of an update, and then from there we'll go into some things that have happened before. So right now, today is the 15th. Today is March 15th, actually my sister's birthday. So if you're watching, happy birthday, sis. And as of today, the situation in China is, from what I've been told, not just I'm not paying attention to the media so much, but from what I'm told by my friends, it's a lot better. Many of the factories have reopened, but a lot of the shops are still closed. So if they go out, they're not able to really go watch a movie in many of the stores, like if they want to go to Starbucks or something like that. I did read online the other day, it said all of the Starbucks were reopened, but I'm not so sure that that's true or not. I do know that many of the shops are still closed. It's mostly the production factories and that sort of thing that are reopening, and of course the supermarkets and places like that. But slowly things are starting to reopen. But from what I can understand, it's mostly all under control, and things are slowly getting back to normal. But a lot of places, especially like the English training centers and schools, the places where a lot of people have to come together, or a lot of kids or whatever, those places are still closed. I have I have several friends who have children who are not in school. And when I was in Beijing, I had a couple of students there who are also quite young and still in school, and they're not back yet. They're not back in school. So they're spending pretty much every day at home. Actually, today I talked with one of them. She's about 10 years old. She messaged me, and we were chatting online, and one of the things that we were using WeChat, actually. But as we were talking, she told me that she had the opportunity to go with her family to the park today. So her parents took her to the park. She was very excited about that because she doesn't get the opportunity to do that very often. She said pretty much every day is the same. She has to stay inside, and she only gets to go out every once in a while, maybe just a couple of times a week. So that's recent. That's still. I'm sorry, I've got my notifications on. Let me turn that off. Okay, sorry about that. But anyway, that's still going on right now, although things seem to be more under control now than before, for sure. There's still a lot of places that are not open, and even the big cities like Beijing, because that's where she's at. She's in Beijing. They're still not back in school, and they're mostly just having to stay at home. But they're not being completely quarantined inside. They can still go out sometimes. So when they get the chance, they're very happy to do that. All right. So that's kind of the condition it's in most places. I have a girlfriend who's in Fujian province, and she's able to go out and do what she needs to do. Recently she went by a high-speed train to another city to go pick up some medicine for her mom. And so, they're able to, move around a little bit down there. And so, they're not completely just shut off and quarantined right now in every area. I would imagine that it's a different case in Hubei province, and in particular Wuhan, of course, the city, for obvious reasons. And that leads me to some things that I've heard before. And so maybe that's what you're really interested in hearing. And this is where I think that the reporting in the media is a little strange, because there are conflicting things that I hear in the media and what I've been told by my friends in China. And one of the things that I don't quite understand is, people are always talking about how if you're unhealthy, or if you already have some problems, or if you're elderly or something like that, or something about your system is weak, then the virus issue can affect you really badly and cause long-term damage or kill you more easily. And so they're more worried about that. I understand that, but some of the things that I've been told by one of my friends who actually got stuck in Hubei province. She wasn't in Wuhan, thank goodness, but she has family she has many family. Her family is from Hubei province, but she also has some friends and family living and working in Wuhan. And one of them happens to be a nurse in one of the hospitals. And it's difficult for us to talk a lot of details, and there are a couple of reasons why. Okay. I don't know who you are or where you're from, but if you're from a country like America, you probably think that there should be complete freedom of information. You should be able to just say what you think and that sort of thing. And I agree with you. However, when you're talking with your friends inside a country like China, the government cares very much about censoring what's coming out of there. And so I have to be very careful about, and my friends do too, they know that they can't just say whatever they want, even on WeChat, because if they start giving me a lot of detail about, everything through WeChat, this information is going to be, it's seen by the government. You can just guarantee that every audio or text message that's sent through WeChat is seen by the government. And so whenever we're chatting, we can't say many things directly. But one particular friend of mine, she gave me some very sad information. And as of today, she's still stuck in Hubei. She hasn't been able to go back to work. She works in Beijing, and she hasn't been able to go back there. And what she told me was she has a family member who's a nurse and works in one of the hospitals. And they've told me, she's told her some horrible things about what they've seen, and some of the speculation about where this virus came from and what caused it. Most all of them believe that it's unnatural. It's a kind of a man-made thing. It's not just some virus that came from an animal or some stupid thing like that. I mean, to me, that doesn't even make sense. It just came from a wild animal. I don't get that. That blame was laid early, but I don't necessarily believe it myself. However, there are people right there at ground zero who don't believe that it's natural. And there are a couple of reasons why. And one of those is that, like my friend told me, there are some neighbors to her family that have been completely wiped out. And what I mean is, in China, there are many houses or many homes where you have like 3, maybe even 4 generations of people living together. So it's very common for like grandma and grandpa to be living with their son and his wife and the grandchildren. So you have like 3 generations in the same house, maybe sometimes even a great grandparent in the same house. But they've actually seen some instances in Hubei where the entire family got the virus and they all died. And so I want you to think about that. When people tell you that it only affects, old people or people who are unhealthy or whatever, it's a little strange to me because if your children or your child dies from the virus and the parents die from the virus and the grandparents die, all in the household die from the virus, this idea that it only affects people who are weak, in their immune system or whatever, it doesn't really hold up. And so this is the main reason. This is just one of the things that she told me. One of the other things she told me was about her parents losing at least 6 or 7 different people around them, their neighbors that they were close to. These are friends of theirs that they lost. They all died. And these are just a couple of the stories that I've heard. And when I hear these things, that's the reason why I want my friends and family to know that the virus issue is something that you should take seriously. It's not some fake junk. Don't. I know in the media some people will say, "Oh, this is just the flavor of the month to get everybody scared, to get everybody riled up or whatever, and distract them from something else." Well, is it distracting from something else? Probably so. Probably so. There's a lot of junk going on right now in the market, in the financial sector, and the government's doing a lot of stupid crap, just like they always do. And so, yes, it's being used, and it's also used as an excuse to do other things. And it's not just America, it's several countries. They can use it to change and rewrite policy and do whatever they want. So, yes, it is distracting. However, it's not fake. It's not something that you should take lightly. It's definitely something you can avoid and you can protect yourself, so you shouldn't freak out. I definitely recommend remaining calm and using your head, just common sense. But as far as it being a threat, it can be a threat. It's definitely something that's dangerous and I believe unnatural. That's my opinion. I'm not a doctor, and even if I were, it wouldn't really matter because even doctors, I wouldn't say completely understand what they're dealing with. It's funny. I'm going to post this on Facebook in a few minutes. I'm getting Facebook notifications, but anyway, so that's kind of what I wanted to say about the virus in particular. Is that number one, you should definitely take precautions and be safe, and use your head. They say wash your hands a lot. Wash your hands a lot. Yes, you don't realize how many things you're touching. Today I had a baseball game. I did go to the baseball game and I played, but I was thinking the whole time about everything that I was touching. And in the game, we're just bumping arms. But even then, you're touching people. We bow before and after the game, so we're not shaking hands. But you're constantly touching things like the bat and other things that other people are touching, and you never know what's going on. So definitely clean yourself up and keep yourself clean. And that sort of thing. Masks, I think, are not very useful for blocking stuff. I think if someone sneezes or coughs or something, maybe it can help a little bit for it not to get on your face. But as far as it being in the air, it's not really going to help you so much. It's mostly for keeping you from causing other people to be sick. So don't waste a lot of money just buying a lot of masks. But wash your hands and whatever often. You don't need to get hand sanitizer, but you can just use warm water, hot water, and soap, and just wash them up really good for at least 30 seconds. I think somebody said sing happy birthday two times or 3 times or something. I can't remember. I didn't count it, so I don't know. But I will say that the way the situation was in the beginning in China, they found out apparently that it started back in November, and they didn't actually start doing anything about it until like the end of January. And I didn't even know about it when I left China for Japan. It was in January, and I had never heard any news about that. A friend of mine messaged me the day that I arrived in Tokyo. It was very crazy. But I will say that I personally believe that it's not a natural thing. That's my belief. That's my feeling. Didn't say that was fact. I'm not a scientist or a doctor, but even those guys are not the authority. There's a much higher authority, and I think that there's no way for any of us to know that, besides the people who may have had something to do with it. But I'm not going to go there. I think mostly I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of information on some things that happened in China that I know for a fact, and because I trust my friends that I talked to. These are people I know and trust, and not just some third party. So they didn't tell me about somebody they heard about or read about online. There are people actually there in Hubei province, and their family members have gone through some pretty rough stuff. But I can tell you that the U.S. and other countries can definitely curb this by staying back. I mean, if you look at what Taiwan has done, even Hong Kong, I think that right now it's okay in Japan. People are. I was out today and I went to Roppongi to just walk around, get something to eat, and I saw that not too many people were out, and they're kind of keeping their distance, and everybody almost is wearing a mask. Some people aren't, but I think that they're handling it okay, and the amount of cases has not taken off like it did in South Korea. So I think here they're exhibiting some self-control. And today I did find some tissue and some toilet paper. So yeah, I got some today, and I just happened to need it today. I ran out and I looked, and there it was. So there you go. Not too bad. No panic. No big panics, buying going on. Just a little, but not too much. Anyway, I hope that was interesting and useful. I didn't realize I was going to talk for this long, but it is what it is. And now I'm getting a phone call from my girlfriend, so I'll have to let you go. And I'll talk to you guys later. Love you, and thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.